Ryan, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez. I go live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time on the GSMC Sports Network on YouTube and Twitch. Make sure you guys, like and subscribe so you guys can get some cool notifications when we publish new content. So, recently talked about some SmackDown. Make sure you guys check out that video. Leave comments, questions, or concerns in the comments section. Go ahead and sound off. Definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. But now we got Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross cutting a massive promo after WrestleMania, and it was a doozy. It was pretty crazy because I know a lot of people have been kind of spectating on what's going to happen to Karrion Kross once when his time at WWE is over. His contract is nearing toward its end. The deal actually expires in the summer of this year, and so far WWE has had no talks since signing an extension, and that's a damn shame. Karrion Kross, he was amazing in Lucha Underground, also TNA. NXT, he was great. Two-time NXT World Champion, I believe. So I don't know, this promo though, it was nuts. It was really nuts. Like I said, this kind of creating a sense of realism. If this is obviously a total hoax and we're buying into it as wrestling fans. I like it. I definitely think WWE is doing such a great job of that. But so he basically just goes off, starts ranting about all the backstage politics of how he hasn't really given any opportunities that he deserves. And he mentioned missing funerals and birthdays and anniversary dates, probably just all for the good of the company. Obviously when you choose a life in professional wrestling, it's you're going to be missing a lot of time. And what he said about Bill Goldberg gave me the best advice was just be a good soldier. Being a good soldier has lost me TV time. They go with other storylines for other superstars that maybe you kind of bring up and you want to do, and maybe they use it his ideas for someone else or something like that. And it's heartbreaking. That sucks. And the politics of professional wrestling is a lot of people kind of thought it ended with Vince McMahon leaving, and then Triple H had that banger of a WrestleMania 40 during the Paul Levesque era. Did Triple H get lucky? Did he get lucky during this WrestleMania? Because last WrestleMania, this WrestleMania, I gotta be honest. Besides the main events and the main spots, I give it a solid B or B plus. And then obviously WrestleMania is supposed to be an A. A's all across the board. But there were some questionable calls. WWE has been definitely trying to explore the ideas of new talents, explore the ideas of non-traditional wrestling ways, Solamente producing content in the United States. WWE is more globally, internationally known now, which is fantastic, obviously, with the addition of AAA. But Triple H kind of did get lucky at WrestleMania 40. You had that build up between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes already, basically already set in stone. And, the finish was absolutely perfect. It was awesome. So, it's a lot of, and plus there was some injuries, that happened as well. We're not too sure if maybe Seth Rollins would have lost that World Heavyweight Championship to Drew McIntyre or not. But, according to backstage and according to all the reports that I've read before the Pipebomb, obviously, I kind of had the understanding that Triple H obviously saw a little bit of himself inside of Karrion Kross. And, when he made it to the WWE main roster, he was supposed to, challenge Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. He was supposed to be that guy, but obviously that storyline got scrapped. Once again, kind of proving, maybe this promo was absolutely real, 1,010%. Karrion Kross has an amazing connection with the fans. They absolutely love him 1,010%. He stayed relevant, despite the fact that the Final Testament is, is gone. Obviously he's with his real life wife, Scarlett. And, once when AOP left, Paul Ellering, obviously everything... going down with the White Six. The White Six is gone, and there's all right, Karrion, curveball. Karrion, we got something new for you, Karrion. We're gonna scrap this. He's super adaptable. Karrion Kross, he's able, to go from one idea to the next and be like, oh, it's fine. And and you kind of saw it exploded. And that's why I'm kind of hoping that it is real. But then again, if it isn't, if it's a promo, it's definitely one of the best promo pipe bombs. Obviously, you guys saw in the slideshow that kind of being compared to the next like CM Punk pipe bomb. But I don't know. Is there still politics in WWE? Is the culture of Vince McMahon still lingering backstage? Because WWE promos have, they've been getting cray-cray, recently. You saw the Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. So that's the reason why I feel like this isn't, like, so, like, oh my God, like, that's crazy. He even referenced AJ Styles' real name, Allen, which is usually, like, a no-no in terms of that. And, Karrion Kross with over 10 years of experience, he's sacrificed a lot. Then he mentioned, hey, should I start a new YouTube channel? And that's all it takes. Logan Paul is the definition of a shortcut. And that opens up a storyline with Logan Paul, 1,010%. That opens up a storyline with AJ Styles. There's this promo could have damn well did its part and will help Karrion Kross kind of further his career in the future. But all in all, kind of crazy. WWE selling out for viral moments is exactly what's happening. Like he mentioned about Logan Paul and the whole thing with Joe Hendry was like the last person to challenge Randy Orton. For me personally, I would have rather saw Karrion Kross or maybe like a Nick Aldis, but that obviously wasn't that wasn't the picture that Triple H had painted. He said obviously he should have faced Randy. He never asked for it, but it was kind of like an underlying jabbing here and there and be like, hey dude, like come on, this would be perfect. But then they went with Joe. He said, nothing against Joe Hendry, which is pretty cool because I love Joe Hendry. So definitely I would have been throwing some shade at my man Killer Kross there. I'd be like, you know what, man? Don't talk down to Joe. I'm just kidding. No. But I do feel like Karrion Kross is owed just a little bit of something. He definitely... I want WWE to sign this guy back again. I do. There's nowhere else that would use Karrion Kross better in the wrestling world besides WWE, and of course all the underlying companies attached to it. Going to Ring of Honor, AEW, that would be big for them, 1,010%. But for Karrion, I gotta be honest, staying in WWE is kind of where he belongs. And at the end of the promo, of course, like telling the guy with the suit and tie inside the truck to go F himself, kind of from Killer Kross himself, and then he smacks away the mic. Storms out, he says, I'm tired of this, like, my ass, this promo was definitely a promo that I've watched over and over and over again, and every single time, you kind of linger on it, oh my God, when he says this, this was meant to happen, and, he has the stuff he can back up his stuff, because everything he exploded about during that promo is absolutely true, and has been lingering in the minds of WWE fans. Like, for example, Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. Of course, at the end of the, with the whole WrestleMania thing built up with Gunther, it kind of did serve its purpose, but that match was absolutely, it was crazy. It had a crazy ending. Gunther tapping out, like, I'm lost for words. And, Karrion Kross said it best. He's speaking for all the true wrestling fans that are still out there. And I don't know. I really don't want to see this guy gone. I really honestly don't. July 19th of 2021, on Raw, he actually Kross lost to Hardy as the NXT champion in under Jeff Hardy in under 2 minutes. That was kind of before he got released, and it was kind of like, okay, so you promote the NXT champion just to lose against Jeff Hardy, which is crazy. Then he dropped the title to Samoa Joe. And, he just looked absolutely different. He got released in November 2021. I don't want to see this guy come back. Like, if he gets dropped again, if he gets released, I would feel bad for Kross, because Kross has been, like I said before, an absolute bombshell, adapting to different twists and turns and storylines. And, if anybody's able to kind of hold the WWE Championship, I would pick Karrion Kross. I would rather see Karrion Kross holding that World Heavyweight Championship than Jey Uso. nothing against Jay. I just feel like, when Karrion Kross comes on the screen, of course, Jay Uso, has the yeet and everything, and all the fans love it. Pat McAfee's going crazy. Michael Cole's going crazy. All the reasons to put the belt on Jay is absolutely, certified. It's, they're legit. They're legit. But, I don't know. I would love to see Karrion Kross win a title. He had an offer to go back down to NXT, basically shut it down, saying that he would not want to overshadow any of the young superstars, which is nice. That's great. Like, really, he's a team player. He cares about other superstars. He doesn't want them to suffer like he has, dropping times and losing appearances because somebody either comes back to WWE or they want to prompt someone that they recently signed from AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, you name it. But this guy should have been on WrestleMania. That's all I'm saying. And after cut a massive, awesome promo, definitely love it. And I can't wait to see more. All right, guys. So hey, do not go absolutely anywhere. We're going to talk about our third segment. We got TNA Rebellion predictions. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite high school beverage. Join me here in about 20 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.